What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Yeah. Check it out. Without a doubt, Katt Williams exposed after Friends tragic passing controversy. Man, this has been one crazy story, man. First, I was like, shout out to this coming off of Didi Got a Podcast. Didi Got a Podcast. We are on his channel, man. And it's funny because I gotta admit, man, that I've been checking out a lot of people podcasts and stuff, and I was like, this guy right here. At first I didn't like what he was saying, and then I was like, well, damn, he got a point. I said, yeah, he got a point. Then I was like, man, he ain't, we gotta agree to that degree. We have to agree to not disagree or whatever. Yeah, I know how that saying going. But he made a lot of good points, and there's something interesting that's in this video, man, that I was like, what? I ain't know that. So y'all might want to check that out, man. In the middle, man, this is some very interesting info in this bad boy. But anyway, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We trying some new things, man. Man, get out of here. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
Patreon link is in the description. Please consider becoming a member, as you will have access to many videos you cannot find here on YouTube. Just over a year and a half ago, Katt Williams would sit down with Shannon Sharpe to create what would immediately become the most viewed interview in YouTube history, resulting in many award nominations and even leading to Katt Williams being named GQ's Man of the Year. Usually there is a heavy price to be paid for exposing the truth in Hollywood, but instead the opposite seems to have happened for Katt Williams. Or has it finally caught up with him? A close associate of Katt Williams lost his life a couple of weeks ago at Katt Williams' property, and there are still so many unanswered questions.
TMZ for this one. Yeah, y'all might need to go start tagging the blogs. So this is what we not gonna do, okay? What we not gonna do is...
This dude right here, man, I don't even want to hit. I'm gonna fast forward him. I gotta fast forward that dude, man. That dude, I don't even know who he is. But I'll make my point at the end.
Of being able to tell everybody else you the guy.
For almost 2 years now since his viral interview with Shannon Sharpe. And for those of you who are newer to the channel, I'm going to go through all the reasons why you should be suspicious of Katt Williams as well, and it's a lot of them. But before we get there, hit that like button on your way in, hit the hype button in the comment section as well if you don't mind. I would really appreciate it. Before I give you all the reasons why you should be suspicious of Katt Williams, just generally speaking, let me update you all, for those of you who don't know, of this crazy situation just happened with one of his friends. And it says here, security guard suspected of comedian Reggie Carroll worked for Katt Williams. All right. It says the man arrested in connection with the fatal shooting of comedian Reggie Carroll was reportedly an employee of fellow comedian Katt Williams, per several reports. Carroll was shot on Wednesday, August 20th in South Haven, Mississippi. The South Haven Police Department said in a statement last week, authorities promptly announced a man had been charged with murder, but did not name him in the statement. The suspect has since been confirmed by police to be Trinell Williams. According to several sources familiar with the incident, the suspect was reportedly an employee of comedian Katt Williams. Trinell reportedly worked as security for the outlets reported. People has reached out to Katt's representatives for comments. The incident where the shooting occurred is listed as Trinell's last known address. Carroll was recently part of Katt's Heaven on Earth comedy tour, per Fox 13. In addition to comedy, Carroll's earned several television credits over the years, namely a 2000 episode of the variety series Showtime at the Apollo. A motive for the shooting has not been revealed. It wasn't immediately clear if Trinell has entered pleas or retained an attorney to speak on his behalf.
I appreciate everybody for being here. I want to appreciate South Haven Police Department, specifically Chief Kern and members of his team who are here today as well. We're here today to talk about the shooting death of Reggie Carroll. I understand in the last 7 days there's been a lot of questions and public inquiry and obvious interest for a number of reasons. most notably it's the loss of life, and obviously we feel for the family and those that are left mourning. Mr. Carroll was well loved by many, and so obviously this is a hard time for people, and people want answers. And so unfortunately at this stage there's only so much we can share. I'll share with you what I think I can. Basically, like I said, there's a call for service related to a shooting incident on Burton Lane here in South Haven. It was last Wednesday, round about 6:30, that kind of time frame anyways. Police arrived on scene very quickly. When they got there were two people. You had Katt Williams and Reggie Carroll. So we have our shooter and our victim. They were both there. The police immediately kind of quartered them off to where they could make room to give aid or make life-saving attempts for Mr. Carroll. Quite frankly, at that point, he'd already received multiple wounds. But as a matter of course, the police did every reasonable effort to try to help. Mr. Carroll was transported to the hospital where they could continue to try to help. At some point in the process, Mr. Carroll succumbed to those injuries. While that was going on, the investigation began. They did everything that you would ordinarily expect in an investigation to, take pictures, gather evidence, talk to people that may have knowledge of anything related to this. And ultimately, they developed Katt Williams as a suspect. They believed through their diligent and thorough efforts that a probable cause existed for an arrest warrant. An arrest warrant was signed by a judge, and Mr. Williams was taken into custody same night.
And I think that goes to once again.
This dude is terrible. This guy's terrible, man. He didn't say any more information than what we already have in the news. He also didn't even say AM or PM. He just said 6 o'clock. The way he said that should be 6 o'clock in the morning. Or should he use military time, the 24-hour clock? He didn't even say AM or PM. Terrible. And we accept this stuff, man. That's what kills me. All right, let's see what my man got to say. DD. What's up, DD?
Was signed by a judge, and Mr. Williams was taken into custody same night.
And I think that goes to once again speak to the weirdness around this entire case. First and foremost, I want to say rest in peace to Mr. Carroll. I send my condolences to him and his family and his loved ones. This whole incident is weird. And I mean, it's kind of what we built this channel around. All the coincidences that seem to happen in this world and with these notable figures. And I remember when Katt Williams first went viral, outside of all the red flags that I noticed in that interview, and I was one of the very few people I heard and seen speak out about all the red flags. Because remember, a lot of people was praising Katt for exposing a lot of stuff that he exposed, even though Katt Williams did a lot of lying in that interview as well, that we're going to get to in just a sec. One of the things I said was pay attention to Katt Williams, because either his career is going to really take off, his career is going to really plummet, or something tragic is probably going to happen in his life. And I was hoping I was wrong. I said it on this channel multiple times. I hope I'm wrong about that. But that's just typically how it works if you expose things. But if you look at Katt Williams' career, especially since that interview, things have only went great for him. He's had a Netflix special. He was named Man of the Year by GQ.
He been had Netflix specials. Katt Williams got about 4 or 5 Netflix specials before that interview. I'll just point out that's one thing.
All the major outlets covered his story, which is typically what doesn't happen when you talk about the type of stuff that Katt Williams was talking about, right? When you look at a channel like mine, my channel, but not just mine, so you all don't think I'm biased, other channels that are similar to mine, we should have, 2, 3, 4 million subscribers, hundreds of millions of views. You know why? Because we expose what really go on in Hollywood, in this world, the spiritual warfare that's taking place, and how they trick people and how they're really raging a war against the people. And a lot of people can't see it for what it is. But if you notice, a lot of content like mine is suppressed. Meanwhile, Shannon Sharpe and Katt Williams interview goes viral. Why do I think that is? Because I believe Katt Williams is controlled opposition. Of course, the same way I think Kanye is. And a lot of these other folks. Not to mention, it's also very suspicious when you look at Shannon Sharpe's career.
Forget Shannon Sharpe career. Come on, man. Hold up. Katt Williams been on tour, been in front of audience. There are in every city, there's millions and millions of people that know him damn near personally. Damn near personally, man. Don't nobody know who you is. They don't even know who I am. God, a YouTuber. Really? Come on, man. Let's call a spade a spade. This man has been on Netflix and been around the world plenty of times. What is you saying?
This controlled opposition.
Of course he would have made a couple of million. And then it was a shocker. I mean, come on, man. I ain't taking nothing away from that interview. That interview had everybody going, what? Man, get out of here. Hey. This guy, he gotta go home. Here we go, man.
Content like mine is suppressed. Meanwhile, Shannon Sharpe and Katt Williams interview goes viral. Why do I think that is? Because I believe Katt Williams is controlled opposition. Of course, the same way I think Kanye is. And a lot of these other folks. Not to mention, it's also very suspicious when you look at Shannon Sharpe's career since the viral interview. He's seen spikes in some of the highest points that he's ever seen in his media career, from being on ESPN and, you know, his podcast being the biggest that it's ever been. Then all of a sudden, the lawsuits came towards his way. And then we saw sort of the partial downfall of Shannon Sharpe. Could this be the same thing that's happening to Katt Williams? Not to mention the other things where we delve a little bit deeper into Shannon Sharpe's career that we've been covering on Patreon. All of this stuff seems to be a little bit tied together. It's not going to be my first time saying this about Katt Williams, but I'm going to remind you all of all the red flags that I saw in this interview. First of all, in the interview, he said that there's God's side and then there's the other side. We don't care nothing about the other side. Katt Williams, not to be judgmental, but I'm just being factual here. When I look at your career, tell me what about your career is godly, is that of God. A pimp named Slickback. You got the Pimp with the Pimp Chronicles stand-up series. You have, you know, you played a pimp in Friday After Next, and all the other funny roles you have. They're funny. They're hilarious, but nothing about them are virtuous. There's nothing virtuous about being a pimp. There's nothing godly about being a pimp. There are other versions of selling your soul outside of wearing a dress, which, by the way, speaking of...
Wait a minute. That's just acting, bro. Hold up, man. That's just acting. I mean, his job is to act. He acting like a pimp named Slickback. He's acting. And it was funny. It was very funny. What make it so bad? He made the character, whatever the case may be. So that's, I think, what's that, strike 2 or 3? I don't know. But he gonna say some good stuff now. Hold on, y'all.
Address in this interview, he said that he was at a meeting with Martin Lawrence regarding the Big Mama House series. During that interview, Martin Lawrence and I guess his team offered Katt Williams an opportunity to wear a dress alongside Martin Lawrence. He claimed that he turned it down. But what a lot of people didn't catch or seem to remember about this interview was that right after he said that he turned that role down because his morals are far beyond wearing a dress, and that's degrading, especially as a black man. He then goes on to say that he recommended that role, that same role, to another black man called Brandon T. Jackson, in which Brandon T. Jackson went on to say that role ended up ruining his career and part of his life. Why would you recommend that role to somebody when you wouldn't even do it because it degraded you? Another thing people seem to forget was that from this interview, Katt Williams said that he was offered.
Well, that can go two ways, and I agree with you on that one. But the guy was trying to be an up and coming artist, and Katt Williams probably was like, well, he'll do anything to get his career kicked off, like put on a dress. Maybe Katt Williams should have said, yo, if you put on that dress, man, you ain't gonna get no more roles after that one. So who knows? Who knows, man?
Why would you recommend that role to somebody when you wouldn't even do it because it degraded you? Another thing people seem to forget was that from this interview, Katt Williams said that he was offered a $50 million deal 4 different times, which I do not believe that, just stating that for the record. But even if that was true, he said that he had a role with Harvey Weinstein. And Harvey Weinstein, in front of his entire team, offered to give him fellatio in front of his whole team. He did this. He made this offer. Katt Williams said he turned it down. But then right after that, he said he showed up to the movie role or to the shooting scene or whatever for the show or movie he was working with Harvey Weinstein on, and that he noticed that it was other black men there. So he was like, oh, so what did y'all have to do? I told him no. What did y'all have to do? First and foremost, what would make you think that they had to do something degrading in order to get the role? Because if you turn down the role, if you turn down this disgusting act, but still was able to perform your role, what would make you think that they had to do it? But that aside, if a man offered you that or came at you in that way as a heterosexual man, one, why would you still want to work with this guy? Two, why would you not press charges? Why would you not assault him? Why is this just not coming out now? Another thing, he said him and Ludacris showed up to a meeting that was something like an Illuminati meeting. This is what he said. That is something like an Illuminati meeting. And one of them was offered X amount of millions of dollars, I forget the number, if they agreed to cut their hair off. One of them accepted that. One of them turned it down. He said Ludacris accepted it because Ludacris cut his long hair, and now Ludacris is in the Fast and Furious series. What were you doing at a meeting that's like an Illuminati meeting, Katt Williams? I thought you were supposed to be different, bro. Katt Williams was also ranting and raving and bragging on Dave Chappelle.
Well, one of the things, he didn't know it was that type of meeting. He trying to get his foot in the door just like everybody else. So they invited him to a meeting, and then all of a sudden you see all this stuff here. There's been plenty of times I've been invited to something and I was like, now this ain't for me, dog. I got to go. Or you know, you don't even want to leave. Like, damn, dude, that's messed up. Like, man, I don't need, how did I end up here? And then you just put two and two together and you just roll out, man. So
what were you doing at a meeting that's like an Illuminati meeting?
He didn't know.
I thought you were supposed to be different, bro. Katt Williams was also ranting and raving and bragging on Dave Chappelle, despite the fact and failing to mention that Dave Chappelle wore a dress as well, multiple times, just like Kevin Hart did. I think.
I didn't even know that. I knew David Chappelle actually did put on a dress before. 2 times.
Raving and bragging on
Watch
Dave
this.
Chappelle, despite the fact and failing to mention that Dave Chappelle.
He got on a dress here.
Wore a dress as well, multiple.
And he got on a dress here. I don't know what this is about, but I think all the characters had to wear a dress for this scene, you know.
Katt Williams was
That's
also
crazy. I ain't know
ranting
that.
and raving and bragging on Dave Chappelle, despite the fact and failing to mention that Dave Chappelle wore a dress as well, multiple times, just like Kevin Hart did. I think personally, everything I say in this video is alleged. I personally believe that what Katt Williams said about Kevin Hart is true. But I also believe he was disingenuous by not also mentioning the fact that Dave Chappelle wore a dress. I'm just saying, man, Katt Williams in this interview says that the biggest role of a celebrity who sold their soul is to act like they didn't sell their soul.
Fact,
y'all
he
remember
said
that?
that.
Well, that's what I kind of feel like Katt Williams is doing right now, because this situation has happened with this associate of his. And the fact that this man has not made any statements, the fact that this man has not sent any condolences publicly, whether it be him or his publicist. And from my understanding, Katt Williams don't even have a publicist, but somebody got to say something, bro. But instead, you hear crickets. Katt Williams goes his entire career in his stand-up where he's talking about, you know, the things that he witnessed, you know, at these freak-offs and at these parties. And he hadn't been to Hollywood too long. And in other interviews, he's talking about how he's against the Illuminati. He comes in this Shannon Sharpe interview and supposedly exposes anybody as if Katt Williams is not controlled opposition himself. The first thing we should talk about is the chain that Katt Williams was wearing. This is a common thing you will notice in Hollywood.
Okay.
Whenever somebody is supposed to be exposing something, or maybe they're upset and they're going at another person, a lot of it is marketing and a lot of it is telling on themselves right there in their face. So not only the things that I just listed that Katt Williams said himself in the interview that I think gave him away as it being a part of the same agenda that he claims to be against, but look at the chain that he's wearing. Folk woke. Up until this point, I had never seen him wear this chain. Why was it this interview, one of the first major interviews, he wears this chain to? And then that interview happens to go viral. Now, a lot of people have had a lot of speculations about what the chain means. I don't fully know myself, just doing research. It does look like a compass, similar to the Freemasons, but I'm going to tell you what I did find. Katt Williams actually told us himself what this chain stands for, claiming that it is an inspiration behind the Anunnakis, which is supposedly this story about this alien species who created the human race to work and be slaves to them, things of that sort, which is all things that Billy Carson is definitely known for popularizing. All those things are anti-God or anti-Bible, anti-Christian.
That machine.
This is what the Anunnaki said. This is how you know that these are not made up things from people's imagination, because everything is too factual. Like this necklace, right?
Right.
People online were like, yeah, is that Buddhist or that's this or that? It's none of that. Like I just try to find the answers to things. So
Is that a ship wheel?
I designed this because this is that thing that you see that all the Anunnaki guys that look like a wristwatch. And they always have it, and you're always trying to see what that is.
Yeah, what is that?
It is a time, and it's a compass. It's a time-keeping compass.
That's what that is?
Yeah.
So why would you be wearing a chain like this? Katt Williams, I have questions, man. Why would you have an owl tattooed under your bottom lip? What is that owl supposed to represent? And I'm going to believe that this owl is similar to why Drake has an owl as well.
Wow.
That's his logo, because it has nothing to do with nothing about his life. I know why Drake has an owl, allegedly. The same reason why Katt Williams got it tattooed under his lip. As we talked about the Bohemian Grove, we talked about the false god Moloch and how they, perform these mock rituals and these mock sacrifices at the Bohemian Grove, allegedly. Which is very similar to what Young Thug is currently doing. I'm going to talk about him in my next video, because Young Thug is currently trying to flip the narrative while also telling on himself in real time with the chain that he's wearing, as he is currently being exposed. But that's for another video. Why does Katt Williams have one-eye symbolism? Pictures just like all these other celebrities. Why is Katt Williams not being canceled for talking about all the things that he talked about? Because let's be honest, if what just happened, that being a person that's closely affiliated with any other celebrity, especially a black celebrity, if that happened to anybody else in Hollywood, if it happened before Katt Williams' interview with Shannon Sharpe, Katt Williams probably would have went to that interview and alluded to some sort of sacrifice or it being tied to something in Hollywood. So now you're leaving people to think the same thing is happening with you, bro, because you're saying nothing. And this is a real person who lost his life on your property, whether you was there or not, whether you knew about it or not. I got a question, bro. You got people so angry about this situation. You got people in Baltimore, goons out of Baltimore, saying that he's banned. That being Katt Williams is banned until he gives some sort of believable explanation to explain what the heck took place.
Man, that's crazy. First of all, we got first, second, and third. First of all, Katt ain't got to come on social media. That's what all the people want. He's smart, man. He ain't like that dummy. What dummy did that kept coming on social media? Now his words is hung up. I forgot who that was. Anyway, his lawyers probably told him say nothing. The house had something to do with him. These people worked with him. The security guard worked with him. They was on tour with him. So if he say something, no matter what he say, you're going to twist it some kind of way anyway. His PR people and his lawyers saying, stay off social media until this thing clears up. Katt Williams wasn't there. The police say he wasn't there. This what kills me. This is strike two. What makes you think that Katt Williams has not reached out to his family? What makes you think Katt Williams, just because the brother, he could be cast out. He probably called their mama or called the wife or said something to somebody. What makes you think he didn't say that or do that? Just because he didn't come on social media and air out his draws, you think, excuse me, you think that he need to come on social media and air out his draws. How can you come back after that one? God dog, boy. All right, here we go.
Or goons out of Baltimore saying that he's banned.
That's number 3. I forgot about that part. I don't know what state, city, country, town that you can ban Uncle Mike from, but tell me which one I'm banned from and watch me go. Come on, dog. He banned from Baltimore. Negro, I would go in Baltimore with a sign saying, I'm here. I'm here. So that is
bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
And Katt Williams is banned until he gives some sort of believable explanation to explain what the heck took place. I'm just saying, man.
Oh, y'all
up in the comment section, though. Y'all up in the comment section. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. But as always, I've always side-eyed Katt as I pretty much side-eye anybody coming out of Hollywood. I don't care what's coming out of your mouth. If you're still a part of the circus, if you're still a part of the show, then I'm going to assume that you're one of the clowns as well. Shout out to my Patreon members, my channel members. Y'all mean the world to me. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Until
shout out to Demetrius. Now my mouth full, y'all. I'm just going to do this. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Take a like, take a slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.